Hello, it is 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines we have: the President of the Republic receives the United States Secretary of Defense, Mr. Lloyd James Austin. The head of the diplomacy calls for global actions for a future of peace and prosperity. For the international scene, two lives lost fighting devastating fires in Sicily. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, received in the middle of the afternoon at the Palace of the Republic a high-level American delegation led by the American Secretary of State for Defense, Lloyd James Austin. The audience served as a framework for both parties to carry out a broad overview of the privileged relations of friendship and cooperation between the two countries and the two peoples, as well as the ways and means to further promoting relations of friendship. During this meeting, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, and the American Ministers of Defense especially had fruitful exchanges on the subject of strategic partnership between the Republic of Djibouti and the USA. The discussion is mainly focused on the identification of the new partnership relating to the geostrategic changes characterizing the world and the sub-regions to face security and economic challenges. It is important to remember that the Republic of Djibouti and the US maintain unique relations in a number of key sectors, including defense, security, economy, and energy development. In terms of defense and security, the two countries maintain strong relations in the field of security, which are illustrated by the fact that our country is home to one of the only military bases of the USA has in Africa. These constitute the spearhead of the international program to combat terrorism and extremism of all sides. The 78th sessions of the United Nations General Assembly, which brings together head of state and government, ministers and delegations of member countries, representatives from 193 countries will participate in the annual high-level discussions, which take place at the United Nations headquarters each September. These 78 sessions was held on a specific theme in line with the current state of the world, restoring trust and reviving global solidarity. Will have on the agenda sustainable development, climate issues, preparations for epidemic, and management of the conflict zones. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres described the Assembly's discussions as a G100 93, emphasizing its main objective is of forgiving a new path in the context of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Antonio Guterres has repeatedly emphasized that current multilateral institutions which were created in the aftermath of the World War II are representative of the political and economic dynamic of that era. His remarks underline the firm convictions that reforms of the UN is necessary to align with the priorities of today's world. Concrete recommendations were presented at the end of the session to respond to current challenges and treat the Ukrainian issues was at the heart of these high-level discussions, and also other issues relating to other conflict zones and wars around the world were on the agenda. The Republic of Djibouti, through its Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, took part in the 76 sessions of the United Nations General Assembly. The minister delivered a powerful speech on the theme of rebuilding trust and rekindling global solidarity, accelerating actions of the 2030 Agenda and its sustainable development goals towards peace, prosperity, progress, and sustainability for all. In his address, the Minister Mahmoud Ali Yusuf underlined the urgency of tackling today's global challenges, including security, economic, and climate crisis, as well as the persistence of poverty in some parts of the world. He expressed Djibouti's solidarity with the kingdoms of Morocco and Libya, called for the greater trust and international cooperation to meet these challenges. The speeches of the head of diplomacy, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, touched on the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals and the challenges that remain in achieving them by 2030. Minister Yusuf stressed the need to reform the international financial architecture and mobilize resources to close the development financing gap. The speech concluded with a call for international cooperation to build a safer, a more prosperous and inclusive future free from war, hunger, and poverty. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, His Excellency Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, met with the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, on Saturday, September 23, on the sidelines of the 78th sessions of the United Nations General Assembly. In his welcome message, the Secretary General expressed his admirations for our country's wisdom in dealing with its neighbors, as well as for its ongoing contribution to promoting peace in the regions and for its support for the African Union transitional missions in Somalia, ATMIS. For his part, the minister testified that the Republic of Djibouti's support for the UN through its unceasingly advocacy of sustainable peace and achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. He praised the excellent cooperation between the two parties, in particular the rescue operations of the supertanker Safari, which averted an environmental disaster off the coast of Yemen. Under the aegis of the Minister of Labor in charge of formalization and social protection, His Excellency Omar Abdi Said, a workshop to validate the National Occupational Health and Safety Profile was held this morning at the Institute of Diplomatic Studies for 3 days. Experts from the international labor offices and officials from various ministries will discuss and identify the obstacles and constraints to integrating occupational health and safety into the labor culture. The national profile provides an overview of the current national situations with regard to occupational health and safety. It specifies, among other things, applicable legislations, infrastructure resources, and current national situations in terms of work-related accident and illnesses. The Minister of Labor, with the support of the international labor offices, has set about building an occupational health and safety profile tailored to the needs of the Republic of Djibouti and formulating guidelines for the Institute of the ESH framework in the workplace. On the second days of this working mission to China, the Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, His Excellency Younis Ali Geddi, and the Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Salt Investment, Pan Weldong, signed an amendment to the royalty agreement for the production and export of calcium bromide in the city of Weifang. Yesterday, Saturday, the agreement initiated by the two parties, which will enable Salt Investment SA and its partners Shandong Haewang Chemical to produce calcium bromides in Djibouti and export it to market. The world market. It will also enable our countries to create local jobs, ensure the industrial and economic development of Lakasal, and collect more royalties and additions to those already collected inherent in the productions and export of sodium bromides, and the concessions of the agreement exploitation is dated from August 2017. In Sunday, September 24, 2023, a crucial step in IT security was reached with the official launch of the National Computer Attack Response Center. The long-awaited event took place at the People's Palace starting from 8:30 a.m. The DG-CERT acronym National Computer Attack Response Center is an institution dedicated to the protection and digital security of Djibouti. This launch workshop marked the beginning of the new era of cooperation in the fight against cyber threat. The workshop saw the presence of the Secretary General of State Almis Mohamed Abdullahi, the Director General of the National Agency for State Information System Mustafa Mohamed Ismail, and also a group of participants selected on the components, including IT security experts, representatives of the government authorities, and key players in the technology industries. The workshop provided a platform to discuss current cybersecurity challenges, share best practices, and explore innovative solutions to protect critical infrastructure and sensitive data. The director of ANSI, Mustafa Mohammed Ismail, underlined the crucial importance of this initiative for national security. He said the DigiCert was established to ensure that Djibouti remains protected against a growing cyber threat. Our team is ready to collaborate with the public and private sector to strengthen our nation's cyber resilience. A delegation of senior officials from the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, led by the Secretary General Mohammed Abdullah Mahyoub, visited Kampala, Uganda from September 18 to 23, 2023 for a work missions in the regional headquarters of the Islamic Development Bank and to the Ministry of National Education and Sport. The mission program included a series of important activities, including meeting and visits to various educational institutions and local authorities in Uganda, such as the regional managing directors of the Islamic Bank of Kampala, officials of the Ministry of Education and Sports. As part of this mission, the delegation presented a detailed assessment of the activities carried out and underway within the framework of the bilingual and technological education project in Djibouti financed by the Islamic Development Bank over a period of 5 years. These presentations also included the prospect for continuity for bilingual and technological education middle and high school. The reign of karma seasons are starting up again. The interior regions in Dakhil and Tajura. Heavy rains hit the towns, as you can see from these images shoot by our correspondent. This wadif that runs through the town of Dakhil is in flood, with the rainwater is overflowing the banks and brushing against houses. The rains drenched the town with the waters, and the water washed away. The rain is drenched most of the Dikil regions, with the weather forecast predicted heavy rainfall just outside Dikil and Shiratu, Kontali and Sankala. In the borders, a total of 14 millimeters of rain fell in the Dakhil region is affecting the Gobad area. Local authorities also reported heavy rains in the Boli areas and near Randa. A suicide attack carried out with a truck packed with explosives thrown at a checkpoint left at least 13 people dead and more than 40 injured in Beledweyne, central Somalia on Saturdays. It has been confirmed that around 20 people, mostly civilians, were killed in a car bomb that struck the town of Beledweyne in Hiran, and 13 others were injured in the blast. Various security sources have assured us that the attacker's car did not explode and that security forces are monitoring them, but the attackers have not been arrested. Suicide bombers detonated his cars and targeted a market where people were playing in the Nur Hawad district in the town of Beledweyne. One of the people who died in the area was a family living close to where the explosions occurred. When civilians' cars were injured, the explosions caused the fuel tanks in the vicinity to catch fire. Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, who issued a statement about the explosions, expressed his condolence and expressed that acts of terrorism are not against the Somali people and government. The eliminations of the Khawarij is a lie that we are planning to destroy mosques and places where the Quran is studied. For the international scene, at least 2 people have been killed in the fires ravaging Sicily. Fires continues to ravage Sicily, with vast areas of island consumed by flames. Around 700 guests at the Costa Verde hotels near Cefalu were evacuated by local teams to faith late on Fridays, but were able to return to their accommodations at around 2 a.m. on Saturday once the danger of the fires had passed, an ANSA agency also reported. And to close up this edition, the first time in its history, the 28th sessions of the General Assembly of the United Nations World Tourism Organization will be held this year from October 16 to 20 in Samarkand. For the first time ever, Uzbekistan will host these important biennial gatherings of the tourism member states and affiliates. The event will bring together heads of government agencies, representatives and of the tourism industries and international trading companies engaged in the tourism sector from some 159 countries. Samarkand is also served to welcome travel agency executives from Kazakhstan, the Kyrgyz Republic, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Saudi Arabia, Albania, Azerbaijan, Bahamas, Bahrain, Cote d'Ivoire, Guatemala, Haiti, Indonesia, Monaco, Niger, Panama, Portugal, Sierra Leone, and Ukraine, Uruguay, and Yemen. Uzbekistan has been admitted as a member of the Credential Committee of the World Tourism Executive Councils for the period 2023-2027. This appointment gives Uzbekistan the right to monitor compliance with the important decisions and documents adopted by the Executive Council. And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.